The name Refilwe Modiselle is synonymous with success. As one of Africa's first successful models with albinism, actress and activist, she is definitely one of our favorite media trailblazers. She joins us now in the studio to tell us more about her amazing career. And if you've got any questions for Refilwe, do connect with us online using the hashtag Afternoon Express. She's one of my favorite people in the world and very dear to my heart. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, sexy.
Hello, sexy. Let me just tell you, if you for 1 minute think that you're leaving the studio today in those shoes, you're wrong, because they're coming out with me.
Honey, okay, let's do this. You take that off, and then I'll give you these. We trade.
It's a fair trade. I'm prepared to do it. If I find one more leopard thing in my wardrobe, I'm literally going to look like a human safari.
Yeah.
So how have you been?
Blessed in abundance. I think Refilwe is growing from stride to stride. There are a lot of changes in my own life ever since the last that I was here. Yes, she's now also going into so many other things and facets of her life. So I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But just a transition.
I do want to know more of that because, I mean, you've been in the entertainment industry now for 11 years. That's 11. A long time.
11. It's more like 18 now.
Yeah. So what are some of those changes that you feel like you're going through?
Some of those changes are transitioning from just being known as Africa's first successful model with albinism to then going into other stuff. For instance, like a lot of people didn't know that I had music in me. So the music career, something I'm definitely exploring. People know that I used to back for certain artists, but now it's time to come to the forefront and also just diving more into that space of my life. And yes, and I guess there's some beautiful things coming, you know.
I actually heard that you're going to be doing more music. Have you already started? Have you been in studio already? Have you plotted your sound?
I have kind of started. I just can't divulge yet who it is that I'm working with, but it's just feeling around the ground and just getting back into that space again. It's taken me a long time to get to there because it was a fear that took me away from something that I love so passionately, but back at it again. So I'm ready. I'm ready for it all over again.
Do you feel like the longer you are in the industry, that the more fearless you become? Like before, when you had certain fears to tackle music things, now as you get older, you just go, whatever, I'm doing it and this is what I want to do and tackle? Or do you think you tend to overthink more as you're in it for longer?
I think it's two ways. In my case, when you're tenacious and you go at it fully, when you're young, you're very oblivious to a lot of things. So you go in full force. When you become older, you become a lot more conscious and you need to be aware of the decisions that you make. So it's like a comme ci, comme ça to a certain degree where you're like, But I think more than anything, you stand firm in what you want and you are very unapologetic about it. That's the difference, is that if I'm going to do something, I owe nobody an explanation because I've lived.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we absolutely love you in our magazines and, of course, big screen, silver screen. But you are our Khaleesi. I believe you're working on a movie now, White Gold. I love all kinds of gold.
By the way, which is an exclusive. Exclusive right here on Afternoon Express.
Yeah, we love those.
Yes, I am working on a short film called White Gold. I'm the lead character. I play the character of Mansa, who is the lead lady in the short film. It's directed by a guy called Luke Bradford, who is the director who currently works on a Netflix series called Marcella.
Amazing.
So he's bringing his expertise here. He's won awards, you know, at film festivals. So it's going to be exciting with that story because it's very close to my heart. My story of albinism has been very different as opposed to many people, but I get to dive into the pain.
How do you think yours has been different?
I think it's been different because very often you hear the typical story or stereotype of what you hear about albinism. So I'm going to play that role as opposed to a person who's gotten the different end of it. For me, it wasn't all doom and gloom, but I'm now putting myself in the shoes of a person who's had that, you know. So Mansa goes through this thing where she's a teacher, she's well known in the village and so forth, and then she gets her arm chopped off by obviously, you know, the myths and misconceptions. And she then goes for vengeance to find the person who did this to her. You know, so her husband also plays a role in this. And she's a person in the community who who has been helping with the kids with albinism in terms of teaching them. And now, you know, these kids also try to get her back to herself. So it's very emotive. It's a story I feel that is going to challenge me because it's the hard-hitting end, you know, of that story, and to teach people the different, like, okay, we hear the story all the time, but I think to see Refilwe away from the glamour and get into a space which is very close to home is going to be something else. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you were definitely destined to be a superstar. We cannot wait to watch White Gold.
It's a journey and a half.
Let's see what South Africa wants to know from you. So we've asked you on our socials if you've got any questions for Refilwe. And Maleficent Miley says, have you ever felt neglected due to the colour of your skin?
I have felt neglected due to the colour of my skin because very often I'm not the context of what a black woman is ordinarily. So you find that there are a lot of casting briefs that come out, but you don't fit that mold. So to a certain degree, you have people who don't want to take the challenge. And so it makes you feel like you're sidelined, and it makes you work harder to a certain degree, but also at the same time, you understand your essence of how it is you need to fight even more for your position and for your place, not because of your skin, but because you have the skills and the capability to do what everybody else could possibly do.
Then Pumi and Destiny asked, Refilwe has a golden voice. What golden voice? Should we expect an album in the future? P.S. Mama Modiselle raised queens. Please send her my love. Hashtag Afternoon Express.
Oh my gosh.
Can't you give us a little a cappella on how we know how your future sound is going to sound like?
Well, not my future sound, but there's a song I love to sing. Well, woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Jumped out of bed, saw Jenny D. And she cleaned up my place.
Yeah, that happened. Let's take one more question. Kutumela Alpade asked, hashtag Afternoon Express, what I would like to find out is how does she deal with people who are bad-mouthing her? Because I find it hard to move on from that. I would even lock myself in the house just afraid to walk in the street.
Listen, you'll never make anybody happy, and that's just the reality to life.
Yeah.
If you spend your life listening to what people would have to say, you'd never fulfill a purpose that God has given you. So sometimes you've got to shut out the noise and understand who you are and what it is that you're here to bring to the table. And it goes beyond what people have to say about you. And also another thing, honey, if you've got greatness embedded in you and the anointing just overflows, people are going to say bad things because they can handle your power. Hallelujah.
Amen. I mean, can I tell you, if somebody is gossiping, and as far as gossip goes, I think it says so much more about the person who's actually bad-mouthing.
It's insecurities.
You've got to be quite a poisonous person to spill. If anything negative comes out of your mouth, it's going to build a nest in your heart, I think.
The thing is this, is that people see what they have in you. So you scare them because it's either that facet of, I wish I was there, or I wish that I had the tenacity or that thing in me to be the person, or it just comes from a sense of fear or maybe personal insecurities as well.
Exactly.
You know, and just generally in life we have jealousy. You need those people, man, because if you didn't have those people, you'd live a life of perfection and not understand how to push yourself further. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. We're going to have you on the couch a little bit later. I love you, my baby.